So Oscar nominations are delayed. I assume it's because the Academy was waiting for me to weigh in on what horror movies should be nominated this year. So here goes. What's up, cretins? What's up, creeps? My name is Chris. I am the only person talking horror on the internet. 2024 was an outstanding year for horror. Really, we were spoiled. Things were not only entertaining, but they were artistic, they had merit, and I truly feel that this is if not the year for the Academy to stop shitting on the genre and just accept it for what it is. And I'm not going to make the argument that everything deserves an Oscar. As much as I would love to give Mia Goth an Oscar for Maxine to make up for her being snubbed for Pearl, Maxine didn't deliver in the way that Pearl did. And as much as I'm willing to praise Sydney Sweeney for the closing scene to Immaculate, she is good, but she's never great outside of that final scene. So let's talk what should get nominated this year so that the Academy just stops embarrassing themselves. First, let's get out of the way the categories that I did not feel or could not name any applicable nominees from the horror genre. Best Animated Feature or Short, Live Action Short, Documentary Feature or Short. Doesn't mean that they don't exist, just means I didn't see anything that I can speak to. So with that, let's start as they do with supporting roles. For Best Supporting Actor, I can fill the whole 5-person lot with just horror nominees. And your nominees are Ed Begley Jr. for Strange Darling. I think this was an overlooked performance where the film does not function as well without him. Nicolas Cage for Longlegs. This would have been so easy for any other actor to fuck it up. But where other actors may have underplayed, Cage does the Cage thing and he overdoes it. And the result is something that we are still talking about months removed from it. David Janssen for Alien Romulus. Polarizing as it may be, the shift that he has to make in this movie makes him the highlight of the entire film. Dude's got a bright future. Adam Pearson for A Different Man. This really depends on whether you feel that this film treads horror or not. I'm kind of on the fence about it, but I am not on the fence about his performance. And finally, Dennis Quaid for The Substance. At 70 years old, with 50 years in the business this year, Quaid has been called the greatest actor to never even receive an Oscar nomination, let alone win. I think body of work justifies both nomination and win. And yes, they do that. You think Leonardo DiCaprio deserved it for The fucking Revenant? Scorsese's only win is for The Departed? Really? Alright, so let's knock out some technicals. I'm not going to speak too heavy on these because I think they are more self-evident. Best Cinematography, Cuckoo, Longlegs, Nosferatu, Strange Darling, The Substance. They are all beautifully shot and unique in vision. For Best Film Editing, Cuckoo, Nosferatu, The Substance. For Best Sound, A Quiet Place Day One. Soundscapes are difficult in this entire series. Alien Romulus, Heretic, which I don't necessarily get, but the amount of creators that I saw in their reviews talking about the sound design of Heretic tells me that I kind of missed something. So I'll just take your word for it. They can have a nominee on your behalf. You're welcome. And Nosferatu. Okay, cool. So let's move on to actress in a supporting role. And I've only got a couple here, those being Margaret Qualley for The Substance. I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't tossing this in here because of her Golden Globe nomination. She was great, but I don't think that the part of Sue is awardable great. And more importantly, Sophie Thatcher for Heretic. I honestly think that she got outshined by Hugh Grant because everybody was hyper-fixated on him, but we as an audience don't feel the tension build or the paranoia without her conveying her distrust. His performance was enabled by hers. That's what a supporting role does. All right. So for Best International Feature, only one that I'm going to outwardly nominate is South Korea's Exuma. I did not personally care for this film, but a lot of you did. Enough to make me feel like I missed something. Everything was well done, it was culturally significant and sound. So yeah, throw it in there. It'll never happen, but if they really wanted to make a statement of progression and acceptance of the genre, The Coffee Table and Red Rooms, they're right there. Let's check out some of the aesthetic categories. And again, self-explanatory, we're going to be kind of brief with these. For Best Production Design, Alien Romulus, Beetlejuice, Nosferatu, Oddity, and The Substance. And no, I'm not edgelord shoehorning it in. The claustrophobia and impending doom to Oddity's production design made that movie as scary as it is. Not everything has to be grandiose to have an outstanding production design. Best Costume Design, Alien Romulus, Nosferatu. Makeup and hairstyling, Beetlejuice, Longlegs, Nosferatu, The Substance, and Terrifier 3. Yes, Terrifier 3. No, it will never happen because Terrifier 3 is too much of a disruption to the system. But in the 80s, we gave this category to The Fly. The first recipient ever was An American Werewolf in London. Why horror isn't nominated for makeup more often is beyond me. But I do think that the other four really do stand a chance this year, especially The Substance. Best Visual Effects, Alien Romulus, Beetlejuice, Nosferatu, The Substance. Moving along. For Best Original Screenplay, all I've got for you is The Substance. This at its core is a beautifully written film with depth and subtext that is absolute crime to ignore. I honestly think that it will be nominated, and I kind of think that it may win. For Best Adapted Screenplay, I was kind of back and forth on throwing this in there because I don't really think that it hits the necessary dialogue points, but I do feel that the Academy wants to give Robert Eggers an award, and this one is easier for them to let go of than director, so Nosferatu, there you go. Let's talk music stuff. For Best Original Score, Beetlejuice, Longlegs, Nosferatu, The Substance. Fun fact, Danny Elfman has been nominated 4 times for a total of 0 wins. His reinterpretation and expansion of one of his first scores, Beetlejuice, would be a fitting apology for overlooking the dude for 40 years while you were busy sucking off John Williams. That's right, his first score, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, 1985. 40 years ago. Best Original Song, Nicolas Cage should be nominated for the Let Me In Now thing from Longlegs that's still stuck in our collective psyche. But I don't know that that meets the minimum qualifications to constitute a song proper for nomination. So how about instead we look at a work of art by Ice Nine Kills, again, from Terrifier 3. Because firstly, this song is a fucking banger. Secondly, it'd be nice if the Academy could award something that's not some sprawling, dramatic epic. We can simultaneously recognize that the hills are alive with the sound of music, while the streets are undead with the sound of metal. It's not gonna kill you. I mean, it probably won't. And that leaves us with the so-called Big Four. So for actor in a leading role, Hugh Grant for Heretic. It's here because I'm apparently the only person that doesn't see it and know that you're going to give me shit if I don't mention it. He was good. He was very good. The third act shits the bed. It's why this is not in the screenplay thing. And I will fight you on that. I would not dispute the nomination, but if you're of the standpoint that we've never seen him like this before and that's why he deserves this nomination, then you either missed or completely forgot about the HBO series The Undoing. It's not horror, but it's absolutely worth your time. The other one, Sebastian Stan for A Different Man. Again, debatable as horror, but the performance is undeniable, and his Golden Globe win basically puts this on lock. And a dark horse that I will throw your way, James McAvoy for Speak No Evil. I did not like this movie. It's either carbon copy of the original or a shying away from the source material to make it more palatable. The original was effective because it was not palatable and felt real. But the one saving grace to this film that kept me watching was the performance of James McAvoy. His quietly unhinged manipulation is the sole thing that held this film together and made it work at the level that it did for those of you who did like it. For Best Director, Robert Eggers for Nosferatu. Whether it resonated with you or not, you have to give it to the dude. This is a wholly unique vision that is unfiltered and fully realized. Coralie Fargi for The Substance. Yeah, we all found out how that was pronounced at the Golden Globes. Oops. Removing personal bias due to this being my far and away favorite film of last year, I have to say objectively, this is a beautifully made, poignant, and intelligent film. The Academy will likely give her the nomination, but they'll give her the screenplay win because this isn't obvious enough of a film to be awarded in this field. Remember what they did with Get Out? That. And Osgood Perkins for Longlegs. I do think that Perkins not only created a cultural phenomenon this year with Longlegs, he did so while remaining true to his own style, which is an unconventional style for American culture. In fact, that holds true for all three of these people. Had you shown me these movies last year, I would have told you at best these would be sleeper hits and that they all will find their audiences, but these films do not have mass appeal. I personally saw teenagers outside the movie theater begging adults to buy them tickets for Longlegs and for Nosferatu. They're art films. Good on you, kids. You give me hope. Alrighty, for actress in a leading role, Amy Adams for Night Bitch. I don't think this is a horror movie. I don't think this is a noteworthy performance. I do think that the Academy loves Amy Adams. Go ahead. Doesn't matter anyway because we all know Demi Moore, The Substance. You can scroll back. I did a full review on The Substance. I believe it is my most watched video. I have been saying this since I first saw that film. And after not only the film, but the Golden Globe win and the speech, give her everything. It's time. And of course, tying directly to that, while staying wholly realistic, the only contender that I am throwing into the ring for the best picture of the year is The Substance, because that is what it should be. The year that has had many great films, horror or otherwise, The Substance has the art, the entertainment value, and the potential legacy to be a film that is still regularly spoken of 10, 20, 50 years from now. It will endure, and it's the Academy's responsibility to finally start to recognize these things. Oh, and one more thing, because don't think that I forgot. The recipient of the Academy Honorary Award for Lifetime Achievement, John Carpenter. No, he was not the first person to make a slasher movie, but he is the one that made one that was good enough to inspire countless others to try to do likewise. There's people that are creating their first films right now that are trying to achieve Halloween specifically. But beyond that, Dan O'Bannon, Nick Castle, Jamie Lee Curtis, Tom Atkins, Keith David, Adrienne Barbeau, the aforementioned Sydney Sweeney, they all started their careers with John Carpenter. Yes, Sweeney was in The Ward when she was like 14 years old. People like Kurt Russell were able to transition from Disney child actor into bankable leading man via John Carpenter. Donald Pleasance, Pam Grier, Janet Leigh, they all found career resurgence through the man. No, Roddy Piper did not become a huge movie star himself, But by putting him front and center of They Live, Carpenter proved that professional wrestlers could transition into actors. Do we get Dwayne Johnson or John Cena or Dave Bautista as bankable leading men without Piper chewing bubblegum and kicking ass? Possibly not. But if you look into the ripple effect, Paul Rudd, Danielle Harris, Josh Hartnett, they all got their start in Halloween sequels. I don't have time to get into the people who got their careers because of films that were inspired by his work. But you get the point. The man is a writer, he's a director, he's a producer, he's an occasional actor, he's a composer that writes the majority of the music for his films, and frankly, he left film because his work was shit upon and unrecognized for decades. And now, suddenly, there's merit in it. Listen, we lost the opportunity to honor Wes Craven, George Romero, Tobe Hooper, countless others. So in honor of them and in honor of the change that we are going to make, the recipient of the Academy Honorary Award for Lifetime Achievement, Mr. John Carpenter. Yeah, it's not going to happen, but we can wish. So, that's going to do it for today, creeps. Do all these things. Let me know which 2024 nominations I missed right over here. And as always, this is all just a matter of opinion. See them yourself, make your own decisions, remain critical, support horror.